Hello and welcome to Creatives in Lockdown in Conversation, part of the Wandsworth Arts Fringe 2021. I'm Sandra Porter, and today I'm very excited to talk to artist Ali Mulroy. Welcome, Ali.
Hi.
Welcome. Ali is a very talented artist. She's been painting since she was 12 years old. In 2006, she was awarded Young Artist of the Year by the Society of Women Artists, and she's been exhibiting with them since then and at the mall galleries as well. This year, Ali is exhibiting at the New English Art Club and has just been shortlisted for the summer exhibition at the Royal Academy. Ali, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's been so good because it's been so many years of trying, and I actually don't regret all the times when I didn't get in a way. I feel like it's kind of the right time for me to get accepted, because it sounds a bit deep, but this is the kind of one of the first years I've actually accepted myself a little bit more, and especially accepted my artwork, and just sort of liked it without needing other people to like it for me. So it's kind of, I'm almost glad that for so many years I didn't get what I thought I needed, which was these sort of like milestones, because I kind of needed these internal milestones of my own to happen first. So yeah, but I am glad it's happened now. I must admit.
Congratulations! We are very thrilled for you, Ali. Really, huge congratulations. And as we said before, you've been painting for a long time, from a very young age, and we'd love to hear about your beginnings as well. You told us once about your experience moving to London and how relevant that was for you. So as this is a London festival, we'd love you to talk about the experience, please.
Yeah, when I was little, it was kind of my way of, I don't know, like it was like a little secret place I could go to in myself when I was doing drawing or painting. And my grandfather, who brought me up a lot of the time, he really noticed. He noticed that there was something in it almost. I guess he noticed that I was good at it, but I think he noticed my relationship with it as well, my relationship with drawing and painting. And I think he saw how it was like my secret place. And I think he recognized that because he was very gifted musically. So I think he wanted to encourage the drawing, but I think he wanted to encourage me to be able to find that place of intimacy and kind of, it's like a special thing, isn't it, when you find something that just enchants you. So yeah, he really recognized that, and then he he'd go down the local pub with some terrible drawing I'd done. This is what my grandma
that is so encouraging. Yeah. That's amazing.
The working men's club, look what she did this week, and they were all like, nice mate, It wasn't really, I don't know, I'm from a reasonably working class background, so portraiture wasn't the top of everyone's list of job opportunities, but he was like, why not? And yes. I think that really stuck with me, that idea of like, well, why not? And I always felt like London was the kind of place where people who said why not went, and they like congregated. And so when I was little, I used to like practice writing my address as London.
No way. Really?
To like tell me the stories of like Dick Whittington, and like he'd go to London with his like little pack. So I used to pack a little thing and like pretend to go to London, but it'd be just up the garden path to see my grandpa. But like it was like this kind of like, they were very interlinked, this idea of like following like the thing that made you feel alive, and then going to the place where maybe that could be, I don't know, like most free. So yeah, so I just kind of linked them, really.
That is so magical. When you're talking about that, I just imagine one of those movies that kids dream about. It's fantastic. So your grandfather was a good influence for you.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh. So talking about the milestones then, Ali, what do you consider were the milestones that are really important to you personally, that helped you in your development as an artist? So you talked about your grandfather and coming to London. What else would you like to share with us in that?
I think this is a like retrospective milestone, I suppose. It's like I was at art college. I was doing I did a foundation, and it was really challenging. It's really good, but like I was a realist, and I was really attached to my skills, especially emotionally. A lot of my, I guess, my identity came from being able to draw something that looked like something in reality, and there was a real lack of confidence around my actual creativity. So I was quite unbalanced in that, of like all of my attention and confidence was sort of within my skill base. And then I went to art college, and they just really, it was really good for me. It was like, it was hard, but they were like, you need to almost put down your emphasis on skills and really embrace this idea of like deciding what you're doing and why you're doing it. More than, so it's almost like the kind of the motives and the ideas and I remember having an art tutor, Hayden Cottam, I think that's his surname, and he'd like been in the BP Awards, and he was a really established painter, figurative painter, and I think he was my first year tutor, and I think he showed me his portfolio, and he like said, look, I'm not speaking as someone that can't paint in a way. I'm speaking as someone that can paint figuratively and paint. And he's achieved a huge amount within that arena. But he was also saying, but I've also done all of this. And it's because I haven't like hemmed myself in. I haven't let my skill like dictate what I do. I've used it as a tool instead of like a kind of compass. And I remember him saying to me, like, at the moment, it was quite good, but he was like, you're becoming a glorified photocopier. And I remember thinking like, oh no. He was like, he said it from the position of like really wanting me to have freedom. So he was like, he said, at the moment you're becoming with your like this, like you're narrowing because you're trying to build your skills without trusting your creativity. And he said, I just want you to be like this so that you use your skills to say whatever you want. And I think that really, really helped me. It helped me because his message was true, but it also helped me because he'd lived it. And I think it was that duality of like speaking the truth, but actually having lived it as well, and showing me his portfolio, which he didn't usually do to students. But I think he felt like this girl needs proof that, because for me, like it was, again, like it was that place that I had from a childhood. Like it was so precious to me. And it had become very much my identity, being able to paint. And I didn't really, it sounds crazy, like, even though I held these skills tightly, I didn't think that they were that great anyway. So I was very much perfectionist, always trying to improve, never feeling like I'd kind of hit the mark with the realism. So it was becoming this narrower and narrower, for me anyway, field. So so that was a real turning point. And also, like, so for the next few years, they didn't ban me from drawing or painting, but they strongly dissuaded me with my grades. so it's
very persuasive.
When you're like, oh gosh. So it was good for me. Yeah.
Oh, Ali. And how long ago was that?
So that was like, man. This shows how old I am. It was about.
No, I was just wondering, because it's been a long time. So it's
like 2006. Is that? I'm not very good at maths. Is that 14 years? Something like
that's wonderful. Yeah.
And then it was cool because then when I came out of the degree, I had laid down, I guess, my familiar skill set, but I'd kind of, in doing that, given myself space probably emotionally as well, to actually know what I wanted to say and like have ideas and thoughts, and then I picked up the original skill set, and it was like it was mine more, and it was precious, and I could sort of, I don't know, it was like I could tell stories with it, and I could so it was, so then I was like, oh, okay, I think I want to be a portrait painter. I think I'm ready a bit more so. Then I embarked upon the journey, I guess, of like,
Yes. Wow, Ali, that's a lot. And do you ever keep in touch with these people, or?
So my friends from art college, we're still like, we had a studio a couple of years ago. They're still in the same studio. There's like four of us. 5 of us are really in touch, and then a couple more over Instagram who have moved overseas. But yeah, so there's a little, we call them studio girls, and we're in our little WhatsApp, but we also meet every month for drinks, and it's wonderful. And they're all in the arts, you know, they're all working professionals, creatives, and yeah, it's encouraging because we're all on the creative path, but we've all done it slightly differently. But yeah, all these years later, it's really cool that we're together still.
It's amazing. But we know, Ali, there's another part of you that we want to talk about. So Ali is an associate vicar at the Church of England, and we are fascinated to find out more about how did you get into being a vicar, and also how your art and being a vicar interconnect, if they connect at all. How was that experience? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's really hard to sort of, they're kind of really connected, because I guess as I was describing what art does for me, that it's this sort of like private, intimate sort of place where I feel like most myself. I guess my spirituality is very similar to that. So my own personal faith is like, it mirrors it, I guess, that kind of sort of secret place, you know. And yeah, I used to be a teacher for about 4 years, 2010 to 2014, I think it was, and I did lots of youth work and stuff like that. And I was an art teacher alongside my own practice, and I think that the call to, I guess, priesthood came from doing lots of youth work and lots of teaching, and just, I can't really retrace it really. It was just a sense of, I often say this to people, like, how can you explain when you're in love? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you say, oh yeah, it was this moment, you just know. And I kind of feel like that with vocations. There are a number of different like touch points, but at the end of the day, you're like, oh man, I just kind of know that this is probably going to be hard, and it's probably going to be really weird, because I'm mainly a like artist and rock climber, and that's where all my communities are. But if I don't do this, I don't know, I want to do this to like feel like I've lived a life that is authentic to who I am. And if it doesn't work, but at least I've got to give it a shot, you know. And I think it was that desire to, I guess it's a bit like why I was a teacher, was I wanted to introduce people to that secret healing place of creativity and art, a place where you can feel accepted. And I guess it's the same thing with the faith. I just wanted to invite people into something that, you know, when you found something cool, you're like, it's not, no pressure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no pressure. So I guess that's the best way to explain it. I still find it strange when I think of it as within the institution and within the kind of Church of England. But when I pare it back down to the individual, kind of everyday, quiet faith, then it makes sense. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And I suppose, looking at you and, you talking, there is a lot of love involved, isn't it? It's, and that love that we can see in your work, we can see when you talk about being a vicar and looking after people. So we can really see that. So that's, I don't know if you make that connection, but it's lovely.
I think it's a kind of, it's not about being a good person. I think that's the thing is, I used to always say, like, because I've had some spiritual experiences in my younger days, and I'd always be like, when I get my act together, when I sort my life out and I become a good person, I'll become a Christian. And like, it's not, for me, that's not what happened. Basically, my life got sorted out, and I guess hopefully I feel like in some ways I became a better person by being one, by being loved, by feeling peace, by knowing grace. And I guess a lot of my work comes, I think possibly, it just made me think about this, I suppose now, is like the idea of light shining upon someone. It's like they're receiving it, and they're receiving this kind of hope and stuff. And because, I guess there's a lot of pressure otherwise. And I have to struggle with that, the whole thing of being a priest. It's like, oh, you have to be perfect. And I'm like, oh, goodness, not even close, not even nearly. But I am like keen on being receptive to hope and light. And, I'm up for that. So, so it's a journey, isn't it? It's like the creative journey. It's a journey. It's going to change as you change, as it changes. But I'm happy I'm on both of them, and I'm really happy that they're allowed to run alongside each other, because I don't think they would, for me personally, I think it's a dual vocation, and I don't think they would work without each other, which
I see.
And thankfully the Church of England has been up for that too.
That's so interesting to hear. So you're talking about journey and changes. So we want to talk to you about the pandemic, and how has it affected your work as an artist, and and what have you done as well to keep motivated and build resilience? Would you like to talk to us a little bit about your experience during that time?
I found it again a haven, the creativity. I know that it hasn't been that experience for a lot of people, because the pandemic is just, it's rocked the bedrock of art, of everyone really, in so many individual ways. I don't think anyone will have had the same experience. It might be similar, but it's so individual, because it's grief, isn't it? Which is so individual. But for me, probably because I work 3 days as a priest, and then I do my 3 days in the studio. So the 3 days as a priest during the pandemic, and it was probably more than 3 days, because it needs must, I was working in a real community area that was very deprived, and I think that it was a way, it was a way of processing for me through the painting, like the pain that I was seeing in other people, because you can accompany people in pain, and you can kind of, so don't feel alone, and you can try and provide comfort, and ideally comfort that is beyond you, spiritual comfort. But at the end of the day, we can't physically change what was happening. There was a kind of a feeling of like powerlessness, I suppose, that I think everyone will resonate with. And I think in my painting, I was able to sort of, I don't know, get that out, and that feeling of vulnerability. And I was painting in a sort of more unbridled way, where I was painting more instinctively, and I was just drawing and painting what I wanted to paint day by day. I wasn't even kind of thinking this is for this gallery or this is for this competition. I was just like, just get it out. And those are the pieces, bizarrely, that have gone on to be more successful this year. And I think I guess it came from a place of actual real authenticity. And I think that you can't, when you try and think about being authentic, it's quite hard. You just have to let it happen. And there are some seasons where it's just more on the surface. And yeah, it was that season for me was. So I just tried to use that place of the studio to just get it out.
Yeah.
So. And
did anything change, Ali, in your routine or creative process? Or did you, for example, did you have a routine before that you needed to change? Or, or did you have at any point to make a conscious decision to, oh, I have to do this in order to be motivated to do that? Was there anything that you had to change or tweak as an artist in your process during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people have got this the same as me, but I like turned into completely nocturnal pretty much on my studio days. So I was like until 2 a.m, and part of me was like, oh, I feel like I'm at art college again. I go, oh, and then another part of me was like, but you're not. You're like 2 decades older. It's not the same. Like when you're in your early 20s, you're like, oh, I can do like super late nights and be all like mysterious and angsty and arty. And then when you're older, you're like, oh God, that really took it out of me for a week. But there were quite a few nights like that for months where I would paint. I tried to do it so that I would paint like that late into the night when I had a studio day the next day, so that it wouldn't affect the work in the parish. But yeah, I painted a lot more later into the evenings. And I think as well, I rock climb, which is for me, it's a really good way of like, I don't know, it's like someone once called it, one of my favorite climbers, she's a total legend, Lynn Hill, called it moving meditation. And I must admit, like for me, it's like a mixture of like problem solving, but it's also a feeling of like being able to like physically try hard and like use your body. And without that, I found that I almost had a lot of this like energy that I didn't really know what to do with. So that probably again was why I was up late at night, like a 90-year-old, then waking up like a 75-year-old in the morning, like, oh God, that was such a mistake. But wow. I kept being like, but we're in a pandemic. It's all right. You're allowed.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Are you back to rock climbing now?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, it's good. So yeah, it's really, and also I have this like little side, I guess it's a side project of doing drawings of rock climbers, little commission drawings. And that again has really freed me up as an artist, because it's like a little, I remember someone saying to me, like how writers will write under a pseudonym and you can almost like recreate yourself, a bit like Madonna, and you're like, and it gives you like new energy. And I must say, like having that and like drawing the climbers and selling commissions, but like a kind of more chilled level than the fine art stuff, has given me more impetus for the fine art stuff. I felt braver and like energized, and so that's been really cool.
So interesting, because in a way, I suppose it takes your mind away from, and then obviously because you have relaxed that side of your brain, I don't know why, you just kind of get that rush of fresh creativity. It's amazing.
It's mad, because I think as well, it like, there was something about when they said, because people have been saying, oh, you should do this, and and you're like, oh, I'm not very good at business, don't talk to me, I don't know how to, this is what I do, and they were like, but if you do it under a pseudonym, and there was something about like stepping away from almost, again, like that identity that you don't even realize you've almost got not stuck in, but like it was a bit like the same thing at art college, where my tutor was like, I'm not asking you to let go of this, I'm just asking you to broaden out, so you can like pop that down for a minute and almost be a different artist. And you don't, because it's strange, but like a little bit of success can almost be confining, because then you're like, oh no, like what did I do, how can I do it again? Because now there's an expectation, and it might not even be from anyone else, it's probably just coming from yourself. but you're like, oh God, I don't want to fail now if I've succeeded a little bit, because the fall will feel greater. So yeah, it's called Art of Climbing, and it's like a bit of a cheesy, but and it's just really helped me like free up, I guess, and like again, like feel like an art student. I don't think maybe we should ever graduate from being a student, whatever we do. So yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's incredible. Ali, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I cannot believe we're getting to the end. It's so inspirational. And I just want to let people know, if they can see your work, and you can find out about Ali's exhibitions and all the latest in her Instagram account that we're leaving here. And Ali, it's been an incredible pleasure to have you here. And
it's such a pleasure. Thank you.
All the best of luck with the final rounds with the Royal Academy as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you so much, though. It's been such a pleasure. It really has. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And from us, have a lovely day, everyone. And please follow Ali if you're interested. And we look forward to seeing you anytime soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.